So to start with, we're going to talk about our April 1st deadline. The NUCC approved the timeline for the transition to the new 0212 form back in August of 2013. Well before that, starting in January 6th, payers started accepting claims on the new revised form. And we are in right now what we call the dual period, where you can choose to, if you are sending any paper claims, you can choose to either print them on the old form or the new form. But come April 1st, 2014, all claims that go on paper have to be submitted on the revised form. That's going to include any rebuild claims. So even if you originally submitted it on the old form and you have to rebill it, you will need to be, any claim that goes on paper after April 1st will have to be on the new form. So who is affected by this deadline? It's only going to be affecting those that are sending any claims on paper. And again, just that note that rebuild claims need to be sent on the new form. If you are sending electronically and your clearinghouse is dropping those claims to paper for you, you will want to, if there are any payers that you still have to drop to paper, but the clearinghouse is dropping them for you, you do want to contact your clearinghouse to find out if there's anything that you need to do on your end to notify them or to make adjustments for that change. For example, Relay Health is one of the clearinghouses that we support, and there is information sent down by Relay Health saying you need to change your CPID number. And they've given the new CPID numbers that you need to enter into your system to indicate that those claims for that carrier need to be dropped to the new form. So again, please contact your clearinghouses if you're using someone else and make sure that you've got that information if you do have to drop to paper. Point out, the best place where you can get information on how to complete the new claim form is going to be at nucc.org. So I highly recommend that you download, that you go to that site and you download the instruction manual, because there's going to be a lot more detail in that manual than I can present here. But again, we've used that as a source for portions of this presentation. The other piece of information that can help you as it relates to your product directly, NUCC.org is going to kind of show you exactly what you should be including in those fields, and then in a product release note, there's going to be some cross-referencing about where that information needs to be put in Medisoft and LYTEC in order for it to populate into those fields. If you visit our blog, if you're not aware, AZCOMP.com/blog, we've got articles up there right now that give a lot of details that I'm going to be sharing in this presentation, actually more than I can share in this presentation, specifically tailored around the CMS form and Medisoft and LYTEC. So it's a great place to visit. If you're not already subscribed to our blog, you can also subscribe while you're there, and any new information that we receive and we post will automatically be sent to your email. So, also in your products, if you go to the Help menu and you're not aware of this, we have what we call the clickable form. So if you pull up like your Medisoft Help, and I always go to the index and I just type in the word click, you'll see it'll pull up some different forms that are available. In the current version, you'll find that they'll have the new 0212 form. And that could be a valuable resource for you as well, because as you're kind of transitioning, if you know something needs to be printing in the field, you're not exactly sure where it's pulling from the program, but it's not printing, you can pull up the clickable form. And in this example, I'm pointing at box 17, and when you click on the form on box 17, it'll tell you exactly where that information will pull from the program. All right. The next thing to note is that only Medisoft version 19 and LYTEC 2014 are programmed with the fields, the reports, and the features that are needed to accommodate this change. In addition to that, Medicare, as many of you know, version 19 and LYTEC 2014, they were released last year. Medicare did not release their instruction manual on how they want the form filled out for Medicare until after those products were released. So Only Service Pack 1 will contain the updated form that will pull the information onto the form according to Medicare's requirements. So if you are billing, this may not affect all of you, but if you do bill a claim to Medicare on paper, which hopefully that's just a small portion of you, know that you need to be on the latest service pack in order for that claim to populate correctly. And you can go to CMS.gov to get the instruction manual for the new claim form specifically for Medicare as well. The release notes that we put out in the blog post will include instructions for the changes that Medicare required for the form as well. So those are great resources for you. And again, if you need the service pack, if you go to our blog, the service packs are available for download right from our blog. Just to point out, one of the big changes in the new version is that we've consolidated the forms. So before we had, tons of different forms to choose from. Now, if you need to print on the O212 forms, you're really just limited to 6 choices. And you're really just going to have to ask yourself, do I need to print this claim for primary, a secondary, or tertiary insurance? And do I want the claim to print on just a white piece of paper with the form? Or do I have to purchase the pre-formatted forms and I'm going to print on those? So hopefully that's alleviated a lot. So no longer will you see the claim forms that specifically say for Medicare. In the form itself, we've programmed it so that if your insurance type, when you set your insurance up, is marked as Medicare, then it knows to fill out the form according to Medicare specifications if you're billing that same form to Medicare. And again, you need to be on Service Pack 1 in order for that form to work properly. So now we're going to talk about the changes to the form itself. When they set out to revise the form, they had 2 goals in mind. And many people aren't aware of this. They think it was only for ICD-10, but it's not. The other changes that occurred on this form is because they were trying to align what is sent on paper with what is collected electronically. So as we go through, you'll notice that a lot of the changes have to do specifically with goal number 1. We're trying to align that. The other thing that they did, they tried not to change the existing look of the form or the underlying layout. So the boxes are all in the same place, but the way that we use the boxes and the labels on those boxes are a bit different. So a little bit of form history. Work started on the new claim form back in 2009. They held 2 public comment periods with revisions following both of those periods. And then the updated form was approved by NUCC in February of 2012. So some people have laughed that we have called the new form the O212 because that was a few years ago, but that's where that version number comes from, is that's when the form itself was approved. The NUCC then submitted the updated form to CMS for approval. There were 2 more public hearing periods, and finally CMS approved the form in June of 2013. August is when we got the new timeline for the implementation. So if you look side by side, there's the old form and there's the new form. Again, the layout has not changed, and I'm also using this so that you know through the presentation, anytime that you see the form in black, that's going to be your old form, and in red will be the new form. There's just a few cosmetic things that they've changed on the form that really aren't going to impact your software fields or anything like that. The first is that they've replaced the header with a QR code, so that when these forms are scanned in, the insurance company, the scanner can tell it, hey, they're using the new claim form. Another little cosmetic thing is they've changed TRICARE and CHAMPUS to just be TRICARE, and they've replaced serial numbers with ID numbers. Really, the rest of the changes that we're going to talk about directly affect where you put information in the software. So just to note, there are new fields that we'll talk about that are called reserved for NUCC fields. Only the new versions of both Medisoft and LYTEC have new fields built into the program to accommodate information that needs to be sent in those fields. So there are new fields that have been added to your program. The first field is changed is box 8. We used to send patient status in that box, since that's not something that is sent electronically, and we're trying to align those. They have removed that field, and it's now just a reserved for NUCC use. Box 9, very similar, because we don't collect other insured's date of birth and sex electronically. That information has also been stripped out, and it's been changed to reserved for NUCC use. It's important also to note that individual insurance companies can opt to require you to put specific information in a designated field that they can use as reserved for NUCC field. So that's again why we had to add those new fields to the program, so that if you run across a scenario like that, and hopefully they're few and far between, there's still a way for you to populate those fields. Box 9C is another one where it used to be employer's name, that's not collected electronically, so we changed it to reserve for NUCC use. And 10D was reserved for local use before. They've now changed it to claim code designated by NUCC. Now this is one of those places where the instruction manual comes in handy, because according to the instruction manual, the claim codes identify additional information about the patient's condition or the claim itself. So from the program, in both Medisoft and LYTEC, there are areas where condition codes are already being recorded. The new forms have been programmed to pull those condition codes into that field for you. Box 11B, another change. They've removed the employer's name or school name, and they've added other claim ID. This is also the first time we're going to see a qualifier that's been added. So in multiple cases, they've added qualifier sections to the form itself. In this case, it's going to accommodate a 2-bit qualifier. So again, you can refer to the instruction manual, but in that instruction manual, it'll tell you the only qualifier that they have set up right now is the Y4 qualifier, which indicates that it's a property casualty claim number. So for you, in your program, you have like in Medisoft on the policy tab, there's a field for claim number. In LYTEC, it's on the billing options insurance tab. If you put a number in that field, then the form itself is programmed to automatically add that Y4 qualifier and print that number along with it. In box 14, another place where they've added a qualifier, so they've changed the title slightly. We're still putting a date in there, but we've added the qualifier field there to indicate what type of date we're sending. So again, in your program, you already have a place to enter in that date, and you already have a place to do the illness indicator, whether it's an illness, injury, or LMP, and the form itself has been programmed to pull the correct qualifier for you. Box 15 is another one that has changed from it was if patient had some or similar illnesses, give first date is now designated as simply other date, and again we've added a qualifier. So in your program, you already have places to record these dates that you might need to include on the claim. And the form itself will pull the correct qualifier according to which date field you use. There is priority to this, so if you have recorded more than one date, the form will only pull one date, but it's going to put it in the priority level that you see there. And again, this information is documented in more detail in your release note. So, box 17. We're still sending referring provider information. They've added a qualifier field to this one as well. So from the program, depending on which referring provider field you're using and how you set it up, it will again pull the appropriate qualifier for the information that's included. Box 19 has changed from reserved for local use to additional claim information designated by NUCC. Now this particular field, there were pages under the NUCC manual on how you can use this field and when to use this field, so I'm going to refer you to that. Know that there's a new field in Medisoft and LYTEC that allows you to record that information. And this is the field that probably most people were aware of and focused on, and that's box 21. Big change here. We used to only collect 4 diagnosis codes. That has now been expanded to accommodate up to 12 diagnosis codes. And you can see the pointers have changed from 1 to 4 to the alpha pointers. So we have from A to L. In addition, we've added in there an ICD indicator. We're going to talk later on about ICD and some of the challenges that work around that. But because we're implementing before October 1st, and we'll be using this form after October 1st. And there are some exceptions to who has to send on an ICD-10 code or an ICD-9. They've added the ICD indicator, and that's something that your current programs are not going to be able to handle. So be aware of that. This was a significant change to the form itself. You have the ability to expand the number of diagnoses that you are entering in transaction entry. So if you are limited right now to 4 diagnoses, you can go into your program options in Medisoft, and you can increase the number of diagnoses if you will need to be sending more diagnoses on your claims. And in LYTEC, you'll have that same capability under Preferences on the General tab. Box 22 has just a simple modification. It's no longer Medicaid resubmission. They've changed it just to resubmission. And box 30, they've deleted balance due because that's not something that was reported electronically, and it's now reserved for NUCC use. So hopefully you get the idea from that there have been some significant changes to the claim form. And again, if you're not currently on Medisoft version 19 or LYTEC 2014, you're not going to have the tools and features and programming that you'll need to appropriately fill out this form come April 1st, or hopefully you have a little bit of time to get it in before April 1st.